previously on Gearz.
We've got him, Steve Smith, our car man on Gearz. Steve, first of all, because you're the editor-in-chief of the Red Bull magazine, we can't see you, Steve. We need to put your video thing on.
Okay.
Yeah, you know.
How's that?
I don't know. How's that? How's that? Just, there you go, with the big Red Bull behind him there, man. Listen, congratulations to Red Bull in general. What an outstanding achievement.
No, it's been amazing. There's been some champagne corks popping in the office. It's three titles in a row. It's an amazing achievement for an energy drink that has a Formula One team and a space program.
Yeah, I mean, Dietrich Mateschitz is one of the most remarkable guys I've ever come across. Yet, a lot of people don't know that he's not the majority shareholder.
Yeah, it's, the whole thing is shrouded in a little bit of secrecy. I don't know the details either, but there's a Thai family who I think own the majority of the shares in the company.
Yeah,
so there are some rich Thai people out there too.
Some very, very wealthy. As far as I know, there is a family and they own 50%. Dietrich Mateschitz owns, they both own 49%, and then there's the other 2% belong to the Thai families as well, but not in that kind of way. Anyway, that doesn't matter, Steve. Are you well, my friend?
I'm very well, thank you. Sasha, and yourself?
Yeah, top class. Great to speak to you again. Last week we weren't around. And now, a car that I've got to be honest, I didn't like. I loved the original one from the 1940s and 50s. When they remade it in Brazil, I don't know, it was 10 years ago or whatever, I was not a big fan. And the new one, I'm not actually sure what space it's meant to be in, and that is the new VW Beetle. Yeah,
well, I spent a week with it, and it's left me a confused man, and I think I've had to ask myself some hard questions. I think the Beetle's had quite a confusing life anyway. I mean, it started off in the 50s, and it was this affordable people's car. It was reliable. I think my dad had one even, and my mom actually. Then the car was the new Beetle came out in the late 90s, and that was clearly a kind of girly car. VW aimed at female market. It was kind of curvy. It didn't handle very well. It wasn't very dynamic in its handling. It wasn't very powerful. It had a vase for a flower.
Yes.
That's not going to really attract guys. I don't know if that was your kind of thing, Sasha, but it didn't make me go out and buy one.
No, it didn't make me. Listen,
one's arrived now. It's a lot butcher.
A lot butcher because, the old one, when I drove it for the first time, besides the vase and the flower, I thought I was driving a dining room table. It was just the massive long dashboard. It just didn't make any sense. This one looks prettier. This one, I think they stole a few of the lines from the VW Scirocco. But yes, it does look butcher, but is it better?
Well, look, let's look at the aesthetics first of all. The car is it's lower, it's longer and wider, and that generally makes for a butcher car. You can see they've moved the windscreen further back, so that big dashboard thing is gone.
Yes.
And the car's based on the Golf 6 platform, which is a pretty good chassis. So, and the roof, it's got a high waistline, so it has that kind of hot rod chopped roof vibe going on.
Yeah, sort of.
So it kind of looks a little bit more, it's a little butcher, but it's still, I don't know, it still doesn't convince me. Power-wise, that 1.4 TSI engine's a bit of a masterpiece,
Yeah.
It's you get a couple of VWs, I don't know if you've driven any of them.
Yes, I have.
It's got that turbo supercharger, good cop, bad cop thing going on, and it produces a lot of power, it's like, what is it? What are the stats on here? It's 118 kilowatts, quite a bit of torque, 240 newton meters.
No, it's massive.
So it's got a bit of power, hey?
Yeah, listen, I must say, that engine is remarkable. It is a brilliant engine.
It's a real masterpiece of German engineering. You've got to work a little hard to keep it in the right rev range. It lacks a bit in the trouser department around in the mid-rev range. So sort of 4,000 revs is where it likes to be. It's got a good 6-speed manual gearbox, the one I had. So you've got to work that gearbox a little bit, but you can hook the power in. And then I think the real trick that this car has is that it's got what they call an XSD technology, and it's a kind of, it mimics a differential,
Okay.
which means it really is able to put its power down quite well. That comes from the GTI. They've used that technology from the outgoing GTI. So it really gets its power down well. The problem is that, you're looking at what, 296,000 Rand for this car.
Wow.
And that puts it firmly in the ballpark of cars like the Cooper S, the Mini Cooper S, and even VW's own Scirocco, which comes, the bottom end comes with that 1.4 TSI as well. And this just does not have those driving dynamics. So that's where it's a bit girly.
Yeah, it's still rather confusing. I mean, if you look at the Beetle, it's cute-ish, and then you look at the Scirocco. Yeah, I suppose a girlie would go more for the Beetle and a guy would go maybe for the Scirocco.
Probably, yeah. Look, I think the new Beetle does make a good case for guys. I mean, it is fun to drive. It's got quite a bit of power. Look, they're probably going to come out with a 2-liter TSI at some point. But this 1.4 gives you quite a bit of power. It's just not quite enough. It's fairly butch. It's a lot of fun, which is why I think it's kind of the Ellen DeGeneres of cars. And I've strangely found myself quite attracted to this car, which is the confusing bit for me. It's made me think quite hard about stuff. I don't know why I'm attracted to it, but I have enjoyed driving it. I like the little spoiler at the back, which was, it's a bit like Ellen's pop collar that she wears. Mm-hmm. So
I mean,
don't know.
It's like a baby. It's like a baby Boxster.
That's very kind, to put it that way. I don't know if I would say that. Maybe with a bit more power and a bigger spoiler at the back, we could put it in that category.
But now, Steve, let's think about this logically. At close on 300,000 Rand for a 1400, you're up against cars in your own kind of category in terms of brand. Then all of a sudden, if they come out with a 2-liter FSI, TSI, whatever it is, that is now going to be, competing against their next even generation GTI, because it's going to be a lot more expensive. I mean, are VW, do they not just have too many brands or too many products out there?
Look, I think that's the VW group as a whole. I mean, given the fact that Audi's part of that group as well, and they cover just about every niche there is. So it's there was a lot of criticism when this car was announced that, was there really a niche for it? Yeah. VW believes so. Look, the first Beetle caught on, and it caught on as a racing car as well. People raced it, They put Porsche engines in the back, they modified the suspension, they rallied it. Jeez, it won rallies, it won everything. So this car perhaps has that potential.
I suppose also... No, sorry, carry on.
No, it's up against the car we were talking about a couple of weeks ago, and that's the Toyota 86. Same price.
Amazing.
I'm fairly sure I know which car I would want to buy.
Yeah, no. I do agree with you that as well. Yeah, I mean, listen, I wish it well, but I suppose they've had to react to the likes of the Mini coming out with a sort of countryman style car. And they were very successful when they relaunched Mini. VW also very successful when they relaunched the Beetle. So I suppose they're now basically sitting and saying, hold on, if you're going for Mini, we've got the Beetle as well.
Yeah, I think what VW needs to do, if they are really going to take on the market that goes for the performance Minis, they would need to beef up the chassis a little bit, make it a little stiffer. There's nice feedback through the steering wheel. It's quite a meaty feel, which I quite enjoyed. It's just a little bit soft. The car sort of sits down a little bit when you put your foot down. I think it's the chassis department where they probably will need to make some changes. Aesthetically, they can put a deeper spoiler in the front. They might be able to lower it, but put bigger wheels on, maybe a bigger spoiler at the back or something. So I think the car has that potential. As it stands at the moment, it's not quite the bloke's car that they're making out.
Well, listen, interesting. I must say, I do look forward to driving it after what you've told me, and maybe I must probably feel a little bit more at ease with it than I did with the first one.
It looks a lot better in the flesh, I'll tell you that much.
I look forward to it.
It looks way better than the last Beetle, but I actually don't know what we should call this Beetle, because BW called it the new Beetle, but that was the name of the old Beetle, so that was the new Beetle. Maybe this should be the new Beetle.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, there we go. We'll go with that one.
Yeah.
Steve, it's always great to talk to you, my friend. We'll talk to you next week. I will be on the road. I'm not entirely sure where I'll be, but I'll be somewhere between Joburg and Cape Town. But we'll be in touch with you next week. Look forward to it.
Yeah, give me a shot. Good to speak to you.
Yeah, you too, man. And have a bottle of bubbly for us there as well.
I will.
All right, cool stuff, man. Cheers, Steve. Bye-bye. There we go. We'll put that up on a podcast all about the VW Beetle. It's the 1.4 TSI engine in there as well, FSI engine in there as well. So very, very interesting.
At the next intersection, turn on
Gearz with Sasha Martinengo.
weekdays from 12 to 2 p.m. Central African Time.